Hey guys, Pastor Ramos here. Unfortunately, the Dolphins did lose to the Buffalo Bills 17 to, I believe, 42. It was just a mess.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team.
So that being said, Dolphins finished the season 7-9. Obviously, that's a losing record. 8-8 is kind of like the cutoff. That's where the Dolphins would have been. Now, should have they have won? Coming out of halftime, maybe. Heading like halfway through the third quarter, definitely not. I mean, they just played horrendous. Normally, I would go over the stats, but honestly, with the whooping that we got, I mean, nothing really matters, especially since it was the last game of the season. A lot of work on for the Dolphins. They need to address issues like quarterback, even wide receivers, what else? Tight end. The running back is pretty solidified. That's if we bring back Gore and we keep on working with Kalen Ballage, because we know Kenyon Drake is pretty decent already. Offensive line, come on. I mean, it's obvious. That's just offense. Pretty much every position that we have on offense. What else? Let's see. Defensively, defensive tackles, defensive ends, linebackers, corners. Literally, safety is the only spot on this team that is for certain, and we only have one certain cornerback, and our linebackers are whatever, given. And so is our pass. Like, our defense is like, Our offense might get a big overhaul this offseason. I mean, this is just me blurring out loud, to be honest. I don't know exactly what the team has in plan for the future. Is it very likely that there's a big offensive overhaul or just a big overhaul overall? I don't think so. I think they're going to try to not rebuild but reload. Just add some key pieces, change up some things, and try to make a push, because this team managed to be 7-9 when they were pretty much dead last in almost every category, which is pretty amazing if you think about it. It really shows you the resiliency of this team and what they could do. So, that being said, the team is pretty chippy itself, and they got some chips on their shoulders. That's what I meant by chippy. And maybe this is not necessarily the worst team ever, but this is the worst worst team. I don't know. Pretty much, I mean, they have a 7-9 record, and they pretty much were the last in every category, stats wise. Didn't really confusing, right? And then the Dolphins were in some games that they should have won, and they were in some games that they should have lost. So it kind of weighed out throughout the whole season. No, I'm not gonna go over the whole season. Let's just go over this Bills game. Big factors that were in this game. Kyle Williams, number 95 of the Bills, one of their defensive tackles. He was retiring today. The first drive, he helped push in Josh Allen on the 1-yard rush. I didn't see the first 2 touchdowns by the Bills. I was in a car. But pretty much, I remember looking at the thing, and I saw that we stopped them on 3rd down on the first drive. And then I looked at it again, and it was 7-0, and I look at it, and I go through the roughing the passer on Kiko, the first one in the first quarter, in the first drive. That was BS. What else? The second time they got caught for roughing the passer and they kicked him out of the game. BS. He barely even touched him. I don't understand how he's getting an ejection for that. Now Robert Quinn and then that other Bills player, I forgot his name, but those guys getting ejected, fine. They were trying to go at it after the pile was pulled apart, but Kiko unfairly was taken out of the game. Did it make a difference? Maybe. Did it truly affect this game? I mean, just you can't dictate. You can't say one player makes a whole difference. I really thought we were gonna lose to the Patriots. Like, I was worse thinking we were gonna lose to the Patriots when we had Xavier Howard out, and we ended up winning. I get it, miracle play, blah blah blah. But it happens. So I don't think one player makes a difference. So him being out didn't make a difference in this game. But pretty much after he left, it was just all the Bills. Had to happen. And then the first two drive for the Dolphins, I think like Tannehill's first three throws, two of them were interceptions or something like that. What can you do? Now, do I think this is Ryan Tannehill's last game as the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins? Very tough. I don't think it is his last game, but at the same time, I kind of do. If he goes out on the market, well, this is what's really bothering me. If he does go out on the market, like if we cut him, he's gonna be one of the top free agent quarterbacks. That's what people are not really thinking about. Like, the free agency for the quarterbacks this season, off-season, are pretty bad. Teddy Bridgewater didn't do that great today on a decent team like the New Orleans Saints. So, and then what else? I mean, and then the draft isn't that great. I mean, you can say you have Dwayne Haskins and stuff like that, but give me other names, because people will probably be taken by the time it gets to the Dolphins if we're picking in the first round. Stuff like that. You keep him. You bring in some people to freaking compete with him in camp. Put up his job and make him actually work for it. I don't know. It happens. That's what I think about the quarterback situation. Tight end Kaseki got open a couple times today, but he only had like 1 or 2 receptions. Kenny Stills didn't do that great. Parker, I don't think he got the ball. Bryce Butler, I don't think he got the ball. Just really ugly day offensively for the Dolphins. Ken Balaj messed up on a wildcat play. I'm just really trying to think about this stuff. I saw him going into wildcat, and I got so frustrated. It was like the third time they had ran the wildcat that day, and then Ken Balaj mishandles the snap. Like, you're already getting your butts handed to you, right? And you're gonna mess up like that. Come on, like, at least have some respect for yourself and your team to not do stupid stuff like that or cost your team, because we fumbled and we lost it. So just really bad day for the Dolphins, no doubt about that. But it was a great day for a bunch of other NFL teams. Just recently, I just saw Ravens are going to the playoffs. Pittsburgh won, but they are not making it into the playoffs, I think. I know for sure they're not winning the AFC North. That's because the Ravens just won it. Do I think Pittsburgh makes it? I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure whoever wins between the Titans and the Colts today are the final seed in the playoffs. Pretty much a lot of the stuff went as expected. Texans won, Chiefs won, Chargers won. So really sucks for the Chargers that the Chiefs won. But the Chiefs are 12-4 and the Chargers are 12-4. So that puts the Chargers at the 5th seed, which really sucks. They had a great season, and it has to be like that, because not that I don't like the NFL playoff system, but just in this scenario that they both have 12 wins, like, it really sucks for them. But they do reward people for winning their division by allowing them to have a home playoff game, so that's cool. Because I remember one year it was the NFC South really sucked, and I think the Panthers won it being 7-9, which is pretty depressing. It's pretty sad. Wow. But let's get back to the Dolphins. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening in the offseason. Don't know. Possible coaching fires. Matt Burke is most likely out of here. Loggins, the offensive coordinator, he's probably out of here. Gase, maybe, maybe not. Tough. Tannehill, maybe, maybe not. There's some defensive players that are not coming back. There's some offensive players that are not coming back. I mean, that's football for you. It's always going to be changing. You're not going to have the same team. But definitely, if we keep the same nucleus of the guys who have made a difference this season, we should have a great season next year. But all depends on personnel, who we're keeping, who's leaving, this, that, and that. I will have more for you guys later on in the off season regarding that stuff once some news comes out, what I think could happen, stuff like that. Just stay on the look for that. So, I mean, that's all I have to say. Dolphins finished their season 7-9, and it's not the best way to finish the season, but they competed, they did great, and they had some memorable wins like the Miracle in Miami and beating Chicago in overtime. I mean, those were some great games. Definitely, they played very well at home. On the road, they played. So, let's see if that changes next year, stuff like that. But that's all. Dolphins lost to the Buffalo Bills. I think the Bills are 6-10 now, but I mean, that doesn't make a difference. They're like 9th on the draft. So, Dolphins, I think, are 13th, depending on some other teams. But that is all.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team.